Fellow citizens, good evening. My name is Abolic, a member of the People's Coalition for Civil Action. Today is the 5th of August, 2021. This message is sent to the people of South Sudan to provide updates on the security and safety of the core team members of the People's Coalition for Civil Action. We want to tell our people that we are safe and well, and we have we are within our country in a safe location, being given protection by our people, by our armed forces, and by our security. And so we want to assure you that the leadership and members of the Coalition for Civil Action are safe and well. Unfortunately, a leading member of the coalition, Governor Kwel, remains under illegal detention by the government. We want to report to you on his condition. Governor Kwel is reported to remain in the Blue House. He was allowed to be visited by his family yesterday. He, of course, has not been tortured, even though he is being illegally arrested. He was allowed to be visited and to be given some medication. Only by his family. Other people are not allowed to visit him. We are also informed today that the investigation has started into his arrest, and we condemn his continuing illegal detention, and we urge the state to release him immediately or to bring credible charges against him that can only be tried in the court of law. We know there is no case against Governor Kwel. He is a politician, very popular politician from Northern Baragazal, a prominent member of the SPLM, an intellectual, and he spoke his mind, exercising the rights that are given to him by the Constitution. And so we condemn his continuing arrest, and we demand his immediate release. And should the government continue to detain Governor Kwel, we are going to ask all the people of South Sudan to march to the Blue House so that they can all be detained, and so that the government of South Sudan has nobody to govern, as all citizens will be in jail. If they will have enough space to put everyone to jail or to arrest everyone. So this is a warning that the people of South Sudan could march to the Blue House to be all arrested and detained, unless the government acts very fast to release him. We want to make comments also on key developments related to the declaration of the People's Coalition for Civil Action. On Monday and Tuesday, a number of institutions have reacted to the coalition. And these include the government of South Sudan and the Minister of Telecommunication Services, Information and Telecommunication Services, Michael Mokwei, responded to the formation of the coalition. And he claimed that the coalition is something that the people of South Sudan should not pay attention to, because it is a coalition of 4 people. And he claims that those who sign on behalf of South Sudan think tanks, there are no think tanks in South Sudan. I have a high respect for Michael Mokwei. He's an honorable man. He fought for our country, and he did his best to protect the government. And he has done amazing job building up institutions. The Ministry of Justice, he did his job there. When he was a Minister of Parliamentarian Affairs, he built a very nice building. And now, as a Minister of Information and Telecommunication, you can only see that Michael Makui's ministry has construction ongoing. So we admire him for that. He has delivered to the people of South Sudan. But he is wrong in this regard. The people's coalition is not a coalition of 4 people. It is a coalition of 12 million people of South Sudan. And for his information, because he has been very busy with his job defending the government, he probably has not paid attention to the fact that the CERT Institute was ranked number 80 out of nearly 700 think tanks in Africa, and has been ranked consistently since 2015 as the premier think tank in South Sudan. He should also be informed that the Ebony Center has been instrumental as a think tank providing intellectual backstopping to the Ministry of Finance and to the central bank, and holding high-profile policy forums. And so if Honorable Michael Makwe has missed that, this is for his information. And also the Center for Policy and Strategic Studies of John Gayo is also a think tank. And it has also been holding high-profile public lectures on key policy issues. And the University of Juba Center for Peace, Development and Security Studies is also a think tank, and it is also producing high-caliber researchers. So there are think tanks in South Sudan, and Michael Makwe should take note. The second comment that came through the spokesperson of the SPLM-IO, which we thought was reasonable. But the spokesperson of the SPLM-IO dwell on the fact that there is a peace agreement to be implemented, and that any public uprising would be detrimental to the country. And we simply want to remind the spokesperson that there is no peace agreement to be implemented in Juba. You people are simply playing a chess game. The agreement is dead. It is unfortunate that I am the one pronouncing this, but the IO has been totally demolished. Dr. Yega has lost influence, and he lost the military support, even though he will continue to be the first vice president. And of course, he will be a very junior, less powerful first vice president to President Salva Kiir. And therefore, he will have no capacity to push and press for the implementation of the agreement. We are over a year into the transitional period, and we have spent another year in the game of trying to deal with this idea of pre-transitional period. And the integration of the army, which is a precondition for the whole agreement, has not happened. And the whole opposition is breaking down. And so the RRC is technically dead, even though one could say that we appreciate the fact that the RRC has actually produced some semblance of peace and reduced political violence. But it is very shaky and has no basis for permanent peace in the country. And so they should reconsider. In fact, the SPLM-IO should consider pulling out of the agreement and joining the People's Coalition with all the other opposition parties, even the SPLM itself, which has been marginalized in a government that it claims to lead, that it claims to be the ruling party for. The SPLM should pull out of this agreement because it has been rendered useless and irrelevant in the politics of South Sudan. And so the People's Coalition for Civil Action is the only way out of the current crisis of the country. Give power back to the people of South Sudan so that they can rearrange their house and look for new leaders that will take them forward. The proliferation of warlords and warlordism is the hallmark and the trademark of the current leadership. And we condemn that. We don't want more rebellions. We don't want more warlords. We want more peace. We want more development. We want more economic prosperity. We want more national unity. We want a cultural revival. We want to build the confidence of our people. We want to educate them, give them health. This is where we are now. And anyone that insists on investing in violence is an enemy of the people of South Sudan. And so we condemn further rebellion. The people of South Sudan should galvanize their forces, use their feet and their hands, which they use to achieve the referendum, to bring down this government and reorganize themselves, reunite themselves, and reject this ethnic division where the majority ethnic communities, the Dinka and the Nuer, are set up to fight each other. The Equatorians are stoked to fear the Nuer and the Dinkas and to fight them. These are all games that are outdated. They have been discovered. They are machinations of those who are bankrupt in ideas. And so they simply stoke ethnic violence to sustain their failed, visionless, directionless state and government. So the People's Coalition for Civil Action is gaining momentum, is gathering as a huge storm, and we are telling the people of South Sudan to stand ready. We will be issuing critical communication in the next day or two about the next steps and the actions that we are going to take. You have seen the reaction of the state, harassing our citizens, surveilling everyone, suspicious of everyone, apprehensive of free speech, free assembly, allergic to democracy, allergic to accountability. This is the system that is oppressing our people. Yesterday, the journalists of South Sudan, through the Association of Media Development in South Sudan, AMDIS, gathered to exchange views on their role as citizens of South Sudan in the constitutional making process and to demand that they become observers to the proceedings of the National Assembly. And they were holding a press conference on this, and they state the government sent people to disperse them, fearing that they are people who were planning to join the People's Coalition for Civil Action. Yet today, they mobilize a civil society, people calling themselves civil society, which have become mouthpiece and instruments of state, and they were allowed to hold a press conference in a broad daylight. Is that the country we fought for, where some people have privileges to speak in the open, and others would have to take cover and look over their shoulders just to make a normal statement? Is that the country we fought for? Is that the state that South Sudan should be? where the state pick who can speak and who cannot? Are we now slaves? Or are we citizens? Are we subjects? This is the state that we are rejecting. This is the system that we are calling people to bring down. It has failed. It is not going anywhere. It is stuck. We are helping them. They should save their face by simply stepping down and allowing the people of South Sudan to have a more peaceful, meaningful transition. This is where we are. And so I want to end this statement, fellow citizens, by appealing to you that you organize yourselves, even in the face of the repressive tactics of the state, even with the heavy deployment of soldiers. Michael McQuay was telling you that the People's Coalition for Civil Action is a coalition of four people among whom one has already been arrested and one other lives in diaspora. And the two that are hiding, the government took the last 2 days we have been monitoring, has deployed heavy machinery of the state, including tanks, in some neighborhoods, and deployed a lot of soldiers, and is spending a lot of money putting security measures in place. Why is the government afraid of two people? The government knows better, obviously. They know that thousands of our citizens, thousands of our people in their villages, in their towns, in their neighborhoods, are talking about the People's Coalition for Civil Action. And they are considering taking action. They know that the soldiers that they have failed to pay for nearly 2 years now are not with them. They are with the People's Coalition. They will protect the coalition. And so the momentum is on. We are winning this because we are the majority. We are the people of South Sudan. We own South Sudan. We own the sovereignty of South Sudan. We have the power. The state is so weak without South Sudan, without us, without citizens. The state is so powerful with us, the citizens. And so the time has come. We are taking back our power, and we'll give it to people that believe in building us, building our lives, in sharing power with us, and in asking for our consent to lead us. The time is over for the warlords, for the looters, for the oppressors. That time is over. The time for police state is over. The revolution is here. The people's revolution is here. And the people shall prevail. Thank you very much. Have a good evening, and I wish you well. Thank you very much. God bless you.